everyone. Happy Talk About It Thursday. It is April Halliburton here from All for HR and Business Solutions. We are doing something a little different here, kind of broadcasting on our Blog Talk radio station. And we're also doing live. And today you have me. So you just have me today. So we just chatting, me and you. We are getting ready to go back to the office in Michigan and all across the country. Right. So it's going to be interesting. I'm kind of excited, still a little hesitant, but ready to go, right? Ready to kind of move forward. So we know that there are some companies that are returning to the workforce fully, and those are those that are doing hybrid schedules, right? The hybrid environment. So we got a lot going on, a lot of moving pieces um, that we're looking at. First of all, let me say welcome to the show, All for HR and Business Solutions. I'm so glad to have you here. Excited. Again, we're doing something a little different here, but I'm excited. I'm always trying to do something new, right? So let's see how this goes, right? Um, so I am April of Offer HR and Business Solutions. We are a human resource business partner and consultant. Been in business a little over 10 years, going on 11 years in August. Our mantra, folks, is business can be like a circus. Don't let HR be the elephant in the room. That's our mantra. That is our mantra. And so, as you know, if you don't know, we manage businesses and consult with businesses 2 to 49 employees throughout the country. I am also a SCORE volunteer, so I also mentor small business owners with the HR piece. And I'm glad to have you on the show. My background is looking kind of funny here, but work with me on that. Okay. But happy to have you here. And so I want you to be able to ask questions. I think I am live. I'm glad to have you. If you have not, you can follow us on Facebook at All for HR and Business Solutions. You can follow us on Twitter at All for HR. We are on Instagram at All for HR. Okay. And we're on Tumblr at All for HR. And we have our coffee with All for HR Tuesdays and Wednesday mornings at 9:30. So you can drop in on our Facebook page and have coffee with us and ask your HR questions from 9:30 to 10 o'clock on Tuesdays and Thursdays, or Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Okay, so feel free to drop in. And if you haven't had a chance to, you're a small business owner and you're looking for some HR resources, want a little HR support, you can join our Facebook group, which is the Small Business HR Success Hub. Okay. So I want to know how everyone's doing. I hope everyone is doing well. For those that have not been vaccinated, are still wearing your mask, and some of us that are even vaccinated are still wearing our mask. But whatever you do, okay, do it and be kind, be respectful to others, okay, because we are all in this. Well, we're still in a pandemic together. Okay. So anyway, we're going to chat today. We're going to do a little chat, and I want you to ask questions if you can. Shoot me. You can comment in the chat, or if you want to on any of our social media pages, be sure to. You can leave a question. We'll be glad to answer it. Okay. You can also reach us on our hotline at 844-425-5447. Extension 2, that is our hotline. You can leave HR questions there if no one answers you directly, and someone will get back to you. Okay, so let's talk some going back to work. Let's get it back into the office. Okay, let's ask some questions. And so there's been several questions. We did a great webinar yesterday for our SCORE community on returning to work and the new norm. The good news is we currently have no absolutely no executive orders in place regarding COVID in the workplace, thanks to our fantastic Governor Whitmer. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Governor Whitmer. We truly appreciate you. And so we're moving forward. Okay. Keep in mind, though, we still got a ways to go, right? We still have a ways to go. And so some questions we've been having that I've been answering is around returning to the office. Of course, the vaccination part is now a new piece that has been added to all of the added pieces. So what we've been told, some things that small business owners should be doing small business owners need to know. It's still a scary time. Okay, it's still a scary time. So this is either new part of COVID is us small business owners that have moved back or putting their workforces back into the office. Some again are using hybrid environments, and some are using are returning them fully. Some are returning their workforces back in phases. Okay, which is a good thing, because keep in mind that you have to do what's good for you, and your company and your employees. So what may work for a colleague or another business may not work for you. So make sure that you are gauging your steps to your individual business needs. Okay. So here, one of the questions or the things that you can be doing as a small business owner is, there are again some policies that are in place. We're going to talk a little bit about those, but there's a checklist that we're circulating on to some things you should do if you're bringing your employees back to work or back into the office. And first thing I think more is very important is to understand the importance of everybody's. We talk about the new normal, but understand that everybody's normal is not the same. Everybody has an individual normal, and we have to be respectful of that. Okay, everybody has a new normal. Okay, everybody. My normal is not your normal. Your normal is not their normal. So understand that, be respectful of that and understanding of that. Okay, because we still have a ways to go with this COVID thing. So be respectful and kind. Don't be critical of one's decision to do whatever that person is doing. Okay, as long as they're not hurting someone else or causing harm. So one of the things that small business owners should do is contact each individual employee. And I do say each, even if you do it as a webinar or a virtual get together, to gauge the level of each person, each individual. And if you do it in a setting of everyone, say on Zoom, still make sure you're reaching out to each individual person to find out how that person is doing, what concerns that employee has, and do your best to assure them of what you're doing as a business owner, as a leader, to assure their safety. Okay. That's critical. It's very important that you do reach out to them and find out how those employees are doing, and what you can do to bring that to enforce or help that level of insecurity, that level of fear that may still be there. Okay. So make sure that you're doing that. Okay. Make sure that you are doing that. Okay, that is so important that you are checking on them before you bring them back and seeing, how they're feeling, what their thoughts are, what perhaps their fears are, right? And then do your best to help or reassure them. That will make I'm telling you, probably 100% difference in the level of comfort that your employees will have as they make the return back for those that have not done so yet. Okay. The next thing that you want to do, make sure that when you're returning, that you are still where needed, making it so that social safe distancing is available where needed. And I'm going to expound on that just a bit. Understand that employees are coming back, and the social safe distancing orders have been lifted to a great degree. Okay. But keep in mind that there are individuals that are still getting vaccinated, right? And so everyone may not have been vaccinated. And so the policies now are that individuals that are fully vaccinated can be in the office without mask, and that they don't have to practice social safe distancing. Spit it out. But keep in mind, right, that everyone may not have been vaccinated. And so those that have not been fully vaccinated are still wearing masks and practicing social safe distancing. Okay. So keep that in mind. So you may be bringing someone back that has not been fully vaccinated. You may elect to bring that person back give them an extra 2 weeks or so till they're fully vaccinated. Because if they're not fully vaccinated, then they need to be doing social safe distancing and wearing a mask. Okay. So keep that in mind. Okay. The next thing is, remember that there are several states, I can't remember how many, but Michigan is one of them, in which there are requiring the emergency preparedness plan. Okay, a written preparedness plan. Absolutely. And so you must have that in place. If you have not started, get that started. Get someone to work with you to get that done in place. Okay, that's a requirement. Is that you have a written preparedness plan, and the thing that I'm thinking of that several states are now requiring is that you have return to workplace training. Okay, and there are several avenues to go. It's not very expensive, but it's a requirement. Okay, that you have that you do workforce training as it relates to the COVID, and so that is a requirement also. Okay, so know that. I'm going to drop the link for the checklist in a little bit for you to, you can pick up that checklist. But that is another thing, is make sure you have that plan in place and that you do the workplace training. Okay. What is it? Oh, the next one is make sure you're keeping the lines of communication open. I was in a very interesting, very, very, very good presentation yesterday with Bright Talk, I think it is. And they were talking about the way last year, when everything started, we were really getting, employers were working very hard to keep employees get engaged, keeping them safe. And so they were keeping the lines of communication open. And whereas some employers were maybe meeting with employees, their staff, maybe once every 6 months or once a year, it was going to once a week or once every 2 weeks, in order to keep those lines of communication open. And so now that we have come to this point, and in the last few months, that level of engagement and communication has subsided, okay, to a big degree. Folks, keep the lines of communication open. That is the difference between a good employer and a great employer. Okay. And you keep those lines of communication open, not just because we're in COVID, but because we want to hear from our employees, we want to talk with our employees, we want to brainstorm with our employees, because remember, every employee has a voice on your team, okay? And so that's how you get them to use those voices, right? You can't keep them using them voices, talking to them once a year or twice a year, right? So, I always say 2 heads are better than 1, 4 are better than 2, and yada, yada, yada. So, let your employees, keep them included in decisions that affect them, where their voice is critical to the growth of your company. Remember that a lot of times your employees are on the front line of your business, and so they maybe have some insight or some input onto some things that you may not be aware of. Okay, so keep those communication lines open. Keep meeting with your employees more than once every 6 months. Okay, what questions do you have? I'd like to know. We have another 15 minutes to go, but so we're sharing some things here on what do employers need to know as we return to the office. Okay. And so keep those lines of communication open, and keep plenty of paper towels, right? And sanitizer. Okay. Because you are still disinfecting. Okay. You are still disinfecting. Now, you may not be doing it as frequent, but right now it's down to once a day. And it's more if you've had individuals that have tested positive, that have been in your workplace in different areas or whatever, then of course you need to disinfect. Okay. But still the washing hands and hand sanitizer is still key to us being able to totally stomp this COVID-19 out. Okay. All right. So some policies have been changed. So we talked about some things that employers should be doing, contacting your employees, talking with them, having that conversation, seeing that you are doing everything that you can do to ease their concerns as they return back to the office. Okay. And make sure social safe distancing is available where needed, right? Because again, everyone has not been vaccinated. A lot of people have been, but everybody has not. Okay. So make sure that you are where it's needed. For those individuals that have not been fully vaccinated, if you go on and bring them back, that they're able to practice social safe distancing and wear a mask. Okay. They are saying that you should be continuing to monitor temperatures and keeping records for an additional 6 months. So we're moving forward. We're on this train and we're chucking forward, but we're still working to get there, right? So you want to keep those things in mind. So continue to monitor those temperatures in the morning and keeping logs. Okay, but you've been doing that already, right? So you're going to keep on going. Okay, all righty. Um, let's see. So we have those things that we've discussed. We've talked a little bit about those tips for what employers should be doing, what they need to know. Of course, we are all still very cognizant of what to do in the event an employee does become ill, right? If they should be removed, they should be removed. If they're very ill, have them removed, or with by calling 911 if they're able to get home, or to their healthcare provider or their doctor. Have them do so, and then you still have to, if they're tested positive, then they still need to you have to quarantine those that have been in contact with that employee. Okay, so we remember that one, right? Right, we remember that one. So if you have some questions, let me know. Be sure to share them. We're excited to have you on the show and I want you to ask questions. And if you come later, do me a favor and then just put the replay there, because it's going to stay on here. And you can then leave your questions. And guess what? I'll definitely will come back and answer your questions. We'll always love answering questions. Tomorrow is Freedom Friday. And Freedom Friday is our favorite day of the week, right? So we have our Freedom Friday HR question. You ask an HR question. Doesn't have to be COVID related, but it does have to be HR. Okay, so no questions about where to get my cleaning done or anything like that. Has to be HR related, but it doesn't have to be COVID related. So drop those questions. You can add on any of our social media. Okay, on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook. Drop your HR question. If we select your question, we'll answer it tomorrow morning at 7:30, and then you'll want a free gift. Yes, how cool is that? And you get your question answered. Ooh, how's that? So drop your HR question. And if you're watching the replay, be sure to put where you're watching from and say hey, and again, drop your HR question. Okay. So we talked about some tips on returning to the workplace. Again, it's so important. This is still a very easy time for everyone, right? I know the sun is shining, and some days we may kind of maybe slip up and think, oh, we're not in a pandemic, but we are. Okay. So make sure that you are doing your part to continue in all of our efforts to stamp out this COVID. Okay, so let's get moving here. So anyway, we'll drop these tips. You'll be able to get the checklist. I'll have a link for you to get the checklist for the COVID, the return to office checklist is what it is. Okay, and then, but again, remember to leave your HR questions. Okay. So some policies, that we've been adding, we've had to add because of COVID. We've had to offer include the telecommute, right? Because a lot of companies are still telecommuting. Some companies remained remained um, are remain choosing to remain virtual or remote. So that's a cool thing. I think in some respects, I think it's really good. I think we learned so much from COVID. We really did. We've learned a lot. A lot of people didn't think that they could ever work remote, have a remote team, and voila, here we are, right? So that's a good thing, I think, for a lot of people. So the telecommute is added to your handbook. Um, there is also a COVID policy that is to be to your um, added to your employee handbook. Okay, so make sure that is added as you update. Okay. So there are there are quite a few Michigan um, HR policies that have been handed, either newly added, or updated to the employee handbook for the 2021 year. Okay, so yeah, there's a COVID policy that is added to your handbook. Okay, so you want to get a copy of that, and when you make sure it's added to your handbook, because it's May, so we should be getting those handbooks updated. Okay. All right. So planning for the reopening, there were three phases, which is the businesses should consider working telework as available, and then continuing to work. Phase two, continuing to work to make telework available where needed. That's where some employees they may have chosen to or even requested to remain remote due to things like childcare, or just in the uneasiness, or just getting back into the workforce post or during the COVID. So that was phase two. And then phase three is the businesses resumed with unrestricted staffing of work sites. And so we are in I think we're like at the tail end of phase two. It's not totally, while people are still working back, there are those that are still working remotely, and we are still trudging ahead in getting everyone vaccinated. So there are still individuals that are not vaccinated yet. So you have to make sure that you are keeping those things in mind. You should be requesting when you're returning in your checklist for returning to the office, that you are requesting the proof of vaccination, because you can request the the card, where when you get the shot, they give you these little cards and these little cute plastic things here. So you can request that. You can request that an employee show a card. And so the question came yesterday is, what if a person says, oh, I got the shot, but I don't have the card? Do they have to still wear a mask? Yes. Then they have to wear a mask and wear social safe distancing, because the cards are given out to everyone. As far as I know, everyone gets those cards. Like, I've gotten my first shot, I've got to go get my second one. So, and it's indicated on the card. So if someone is refusing to show the card, then yes, you can require them to wear a mask. Okay. What else do we have? For those that are working the hybrid environments, okay, they may have the flexible working 4 days a week, 4 days at home, one in the office, or 2 to 4 days, or 2 to 4 days, whatever that schedule is, or whatever that's looking like for your individual company. Okay. And again, I can't express how important it is that if someone is in the office and they're experiencing they're experiencing signs, symptoms, they should be sent home. Okay. And then return with um, a negative test. Okay. All right. All right. All right. Okay. So we have covered up some things, and we're going to drop that checklist here. And I hope you are um, keeping safe and help and working. I'm sure you are working to help us get all of us, so we are getting to the end of this. Make sure you are, as an employee, that you assess the position, before you bring everyone back, assess the individual positions that are being done, so that you are, employees that are working more with the public than others that don't have as much exposure. So those high traffic areas, making sure that you're having hand sanitizer there and that you are disinfecting those high traffic areas every day. Okay. Again, we talked about making sure you're keeping, paper towel everywhere, your hand sanitizers in your break rooms, in your receptionist areas. If you have a copy room, make, and encourage people to continue to still wash their hands and hand sanitize. Okay. So that's what I have. That's what I have today. That's what I have on this. And I am hoping that everyone is staying well. Our numbers are coming down. Again, thank you, Governor Whitmer. Our numbers are coming down. I'm very happy about that. Feeling really good about the holiday, right? As opposed to what we were looking like, because this time last year, we were all in a different place. And so I thank God that we are moving forward. Okay. All right. So listen, that's what I have. Okay. That's what I have for you today. And this is kind of fun. It's new. Again, if you watch it on the replay, do me a favor. Let me know where you're watching it from and drop those HR questions. Okay. I'd love to answer your questions for you. Next week, we have Jeffrey Devereaux of No Veteran Left Behind. He is actually the founder of our nonprofit of the month, our May nonprofit of the month. So every month we do it is a new feature that we do. We feature a nonprofit. And for that entire month, we share tidbits and information, their website, what this nonprofit is doing in the community, what they're doing, how they started, all of the great things that they're doing and how they got their started. And so we blow them up all month, and then they appear on the show usually the third Thursday of the month. Okay. So Mr. Devereaux is going to be joining us next week. He's going to be talking about a great organization called No Veteran Left Behind, which he started in 2014, I think it was, to help combat the problems and the illnesses that returning military vets are facing, such as employment, homelessness, mental health. And he has worked tirelessly with this organization, and they're doing some great things for some great individuals that, frankly, if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here. Our country wouldn't be what it is. So I tell you what, thank you for joining us. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at All for HR, Twitter, All for HR, Facebook, All for HR Business Solutions, Tumblr, All for HR. Drop your HR question, okay, on the replay or on any of our social media, and we'll answer it tomorrow at 7:30 for whoever the selected question is. And that's what we'll do. How about that? So listen. Business can be like a circus, so don't let HR be the elephant in the room. Until next week, stay safe and be kind.